Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first million in real estate. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned.
Let's go! Yeah!
Hey everybody, what's up? How's it going? Hopefully your week and your month's off to a fantastic start. Now, today's episode is not going to be what we've been doing for the last 3 years. I'm going to start interspersing these long-form interviews with some bite-sized, smaller pieces of content that will be actionable. Now, here's the deal, right? So, like, you guys listen to the show, and it's hours long, an hour long. And there's lots of nuggets in there. And I think the problem that I get emails from you guys, which thanks very much. I read them all. I try to respond to them all. But the problem that most people face, whether you've been in the business for 1 month, 1 year, or even sometimes 10 years, is the fact of, you hear these strategies. You go, oh, that's great, but how do I implement them? Now, the problem, I think a problem in the industry is that there's all these coaches out there, right? Now, coaching, there's a need for coaching. I don't want to say anything bad about some of these folks. They're my friends. But here's what I think coaching should be, okay? Coaching should be, as a coach, I'm going to tell you what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, right? What, how, and when. Now, the problem is most of these coaches are not super up to date on marketing, right? So most of them can't tell you what to do. If they don't even know about it, they can't tell you how, and they obviously can't tell you when. Now, and I'll tell you that last component, that when, is extremely important, because when you build your business, there is a definite sequence into what you should build in, right? And how to do it. And too many times, we have radio clients, for example, that have been doing radio with us for, a year and a half, 2 years. And even though I spend time with these folks, one guy in particular, great guy, friend of mine, we spent lots of time together. We've gone to conferences together. We've roomed together. And I finally broke down and said, dude, tell me about this pillar, this pillar, this pillar. And I was surprised to learn that even some of the most basic pillars that you guys should all have and start out with, he didn't have. I'm like, dude, hold on. You're doing the super, cutting edge radio and television stuff, but you're not doing this. So anyhow, I said, stop, boom, we're changing all that. So I want to tell you guys something if you guys didn't know. Okay. And I'll be very transparent with you guys. Number one, I want to create the premier training company in the world of real estate, right? Not a coaching company. I don't want to do that. I'll do calls with people in a group. I don't want to do that. I want to be the training company. And more than that, right, the stuff that we have built out as for you guys. And by the way, again, transparency, am I going to ask you guys to pay for some of these things? Yeah, I am, right? Because like radio, right, we'll do it. But, and radio is something where it takes no energy from you, right? Which is brilliant. Once we have our basic pillars built out, we need to have some of the stuff running in the background. And that's some of the stuff that we focused on. Radio, right? We have Viralcast, which is the podcast thing. Scout Media, we buy Facebook ads. Now, today, I don't want to bore you with that stuff. Today, I want to tell you about Craig Proctor and Craig's story. Now, Craig will not come on this show. I don't know, philosophically, whatever. I mean, he is probably the only guy who said no, which is weird. But, he's like, oh, dude, I'm by referral only or whatever. But whatever, dude. But let me tell you his story, because you guys can learn something from his story. So, and if you don't know, right, Craig back in the day became RE/MAX's top guy in the world. Now, in the world, and he was only 29 years old. So, how did he get there? How did he do that? Now, for him, he had a rough time. right? He started and he was really struggling for a few years. And finally, he got smart and implemented some systems to attract clients and new customers, right? And fundamentally, at a high level, he turned his business from a chase business. We talk about this all the time, right? Most people have chase businesses, right? You chase people down, right? You're like a lion on the African savannah, like boom, boom. I'm going to chase you down until I catch you, or you just finally give up and let me eat you. And a good example, if that analogy didn't stick with you, the quintessential chase business is stockbrokers. Stockbrokers, they get your phone number. I get calls, and I'm a nice guy. When people call me and they're cold call me, I'll talk about this for a second because this bothers me. Okay, and I want to stay on point here, but. So stockbrokers, they get my information. They call me. Hey, Toby, let me pitch you this new hot stock, blah, blah, blah. I'll listen to them, and I'll let them give me their pitch. I'll say, hey, no thanks, or like, tell me more. Now, you guys, in terms of real estate, most of you guys, 99% of you guys have chase businesses, right? You find a new phone number, you get a name and number, a quote unquote lead, and you just chase them down. Not great, right? We all want to build an attraction company, attraction business where we are so good at what we do. Our offer is so phenomenal that people call us. And by the way, we are all prospectors. And you know what I'd ask you to do when people call you up, whether that's the solar company, whether that's one of my VAs calling you or whatever, you know what? Listen to the person's pitch. I find it so surprising that we want people to extend us the courtesy of listening to our pitch when we call in. However, when somebody calls you, you hang up on them. I'm not saying you in particular, but that's listening, but a lot of you do, and it's very surprising to me. I'll get a daily report from my VA, and she'll be like, oh, I called 100 people, 8 of them straight up hung up on me. I'm like, really? Like that's anyhow. So let's get back to Craig. Okay, so Craig again struggling, and in fact, Craig, when he first started, he languished. Right? He was surviving off the scraps that other agents would throw him. He was frustrated and he felt pain, right? It's painful not being able to pay your bills, especially when you're in a market where you're like, I'm struggling, right? I'm literally duct taping my car together while, the guy is operating in my own farm, he's driving a brand new whatever and going out to fancy restaurants. Okay, so the guy's struggling. He's living off scraps. Now, this pain that he was feeling, combined with the fact that his marketing was costing him way more than he was making. I mean, he wanted to quit. And I used to, I don't much anymore, but that's one of the questions I used to ask my guests. Was there ever a time where it got so hard that you wanted to quit? 99.5% of the time, people will say yes. And going back to Craig, and for you, if you are in that position right now of going, God, it's so tough, right? There's so much competition. I feel like quitting. Don't quit. If you are struggling, just like Craig, you're probably making the same mistake that 99% of all beginners make. And if you look around, if you're honest with yourself, what you're going to see is that you're doing the same exact stinking thing that everybody else is. And if everybody looks the same, smells the same, sounds the same, it's impossible for you to get the attention, let alone business, of those potential clients, of those prospects. In this market, look, this real estate market is, you know what, man, it can be cutthroat. 100%. And the other thing, especially that we're all struggling with in a hot market, and the market is hot right now. And that's why if you look, my last episode, if you are not listening to these sequentially, I talked about the state of affairs, the state of the market. We're seeing some issues, some problems in the luxury market, which will, at some point, in the near future, in the near, 18 months at the latest, is going to affect the lower end. Okay, I don't want to get off track. So you probably look the same as everybody else. You're probably doing the same thing as everybody else. Now, I know there's security in the pack. Well, Jimmy and Julie's doing that, so yeah, I guess I should too. You got to look different. Okay, we'll get there. So if you look the same, if you're running Facebook ads, which you're probably not, and if you are, you're probably not doing it right, in which case you should talk to us about Scout anyhow. But if you look the same, act the same, smell the same, that is a blueprint for failure. That is a blueprint for financial disaster. And I have to tell you, this, unfortunately, is all too common. And not only in this industry, in almost all industries, whether you're a chiropractor, you're an attorney, whatever. So what do you do? And these are just going to be simple bullet print. I'm not going deep in these at all, but I just want to give you some bullet points of a blueprint for you to think about. Okay, so first bullet point, number one, the one reason. And this is about advertising. Okay, these bullet points are specifically about advertising, because all the other stuff, cold calling, you're gonna, if you can. Here's where you start, right? And we talk about this about radio a lot. We have a very specific demographic that we target. Now, and in a lot of ways, we're farming a demographic. And when you think about farming, you can farm a geography, but you can also farm a demographic. Now, unlike farming a geography, when you farm a demographic and you really, really very specifically think about, okay, who am I trying to reach, right? What gender are they? How old are they? How much do they make? What things do they do for fun? There's very much homogeny in that, right? A 45-year-old guy making $300,000 a year is probably going to do stuff very similar and care about very similar things as the next guy who is 45-year-old making $300K. So, advertising. Think about your bulletproof number one, identify your ideal client, right? Avatar, however you want to say that. Who do you want to reach? Now, again, advertising, the only reason to advertise, whether that's on radio, whether that's with Facebook ads, whether that's on TV, whether you get crazy and you try to do a billboard, which even though that sounds hokey, if you don't know what a guy like Jeff Cook is doing out in Charleston, he's making it work. He's also coupling that with radio. But the only reason to advertise is to have prospects call you. That's it. Right? Again, we want to build an attraction business, not a chase business. Advertising anything else is a waste of time. It's a waste of money, and you should not attempt it. Right? People call me up and to talk about radio, and they tell me they've never done radio, and they tell me things like, "Oh, it takes some time to work." It doesn't. You are mistaking the point, or confusing what you've learned about buying a bus stop bench with impressions and branding rather than advertising. Now, let me tell you something really, really quickly, and hopefully this one thing, because this is something that it'll trip you up when it comes to marketing, right? There's a difference between advertising and marketing. And here's a very easy way to think about it. And this is a very complicated topic. But advertising, and I'll give you some examples, but advertising is when you make an offer. Marketing is when you are making a statement. Okay? Again, this is a very simplistic way to explain this. And here's the example. If BMW runs an ad and they're talking about their brand new 528, whatever, right? Look at our brand new 528. It's so luxurious. It's a feat of German engineering. There's no other car like it. That's marketing. Now, they could easily turn that spot into an advertising piece. If they say, look at our 528, beautiful German engineering, unprecedented luxury, lease it now for $328, or lease it now for $199 a month. They just made you an offer. They made a statement. Check out our gorgeous car. Now buy it. right? Lease it. Take action. That is the difference between marketing and advertising. So the only reason that I will do any advertising, that you will do any advertising, is to get your prospect to pick up the phone and call you. Not look you up on the internet, right? Not learn more about you. Pick up the phone and call you and go, yes, I want to take you up. I want that $528 for $199 a month. Now, and again, no, that's all people care about, right? We'll get into what's in it for me, but nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about your image. Nobody cares about what you stand for. Nobody cares if you say, oh, sell your house with me and I'll donate 5% of the proceeds to, starving kids in Africa. Right? Sell your house with me, and I promise that I'm going to buy 100 coats for the cold Minnesota winter, right? For these kids. Honestly, it's nice. Nobody cares. All right. Advertising. We want to build an attraction business. It is only to get the phone call. Okay. Step 2, bullet point 2. And I talked about this in the last episode. Replace your image ads with unique selling proposition ads. Okay, again, going back to that making a statement, marketing or advertising. So the second breakthrough in this whole piece, when you think about marketing and advertising yourself, is to right now, if you are running anywhere in the world, online, offline, you write mailers with image ads. Replace those with highly effective direct response style ads, where the only objective is get to the potential customer to contact you. We want to create desire to contact us by implementing, again, our unique selling proposition within the ads. If you can have a unique selling proposition for your client, for your market, for your whatever, that is going to set you apart. Again, right? 99% of the problem that people have when they're struggling is they look and sound like everybody else. Okay. Now, and again, like with radio, for example, and everything that we do starts with, number one, a unique selling proposition. What makes you different? Now, I'm not going to tell you, we have some very distinct programs, or not programs, propositions that we use for our clients, and I don't want to actually broadcast them out here. But for you, what's yours, right? Don't use ours, use yours. And that's, again, I'm not keeping anything from you guys. I just don't want to tell you all ours, and then I have a billion people, right, doing what we're doing on their own, and they're completely fouling it up. All right, so 3. So you're going to have this unique selling proposition, and you're going to offer the prospect a lead magnet that they want. Right? If this is a revelation to you, congratulations. If you know about this but are not doing it, well, then it should be a revelation. So now, and I can tell you, like in the real estate world, you guys, real estate agents are terrible marketers. That's it. I don't care if you're doing 300 deals, 400 deals, 500 deals. Typically, you are not you, I shouldn't say you listening, but typically your competitors are terrible marketers, and that's an opportunity, right? That's an opportunity for you to get out and stand out and beat them down by just creating a compelling USP, unique selling proposition. And this is going to be something that your prospects are what they want, what they're looking for, and then drive them to a landing page, a lead magnet, right? Because and I have had so many conversations with people. I'll tell them the flow, right? The sales funnel that we use, and the thing that they'll say. Well, the question that they'll ask me, right? They'll go, oh, well, shouldn't I just send them to my website? And I'm like, no, you shouldn't send them to the website. You don't want to give them choice. You want to say, hey. Again, using that 528 analogy. Here, get this 528. It's $199 a month. You do not if you were actually doing that, if you were BMW, you send them show them a lead magnet, a landing page. You don't want to tell them you don't want to get back into how luxury it is. You want to just go, hey, dude, here's the offer. It's $199. Click here. Give me your credit card number. Give me your bank information. That's it. So bullet point 3. Offer the prospects a USP, drive them to a lead magnet or landing page, splash page, however you want to say it. 4, and this is the and let me tell you this, right? People people buy on emotion, not logic. And this trips a lot of people up, right? They're like, oh, logically, Toby, here I do this, this, and this, and this, and that's why I'm better than Julie or Jimmy. And you can make a logical case for that. But Julie or Jimmy is going to beat you down at that listing presentation because if they can make an emotional argument. And I'll tell you something. I won't explain this just because it's outside of the scope of what we're doing in today's episode. But I see everything in terms of campaigns, and many times what we'll try to do in a campaign, whether it's an offline campaign or an online campaign, to exploit this emotion piece. Typically, our 3-part campaigns go like this. Again, 3-part campaign. Gain, that's the first message. Gain, logic, and fear. Gain is we tell them why they should hire us or hire you in gain, right? This is what you're going to get out of it. 2, logic, and again, all this can be based on the foundation of our USP. Gain, logic, fear. Okay. So, what I said earlier is, again, people don't care. Well, let me tell you why the emotion works. Because everybody is in the WIIFM world. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? Why should I call you, right? Many small businesses, in real estate or not, they make the mistake of advertising what they sell, right? Or the service they provide. But the secret to getting predictable, high response from your ads is connect with that prospect's emotional hot buttons, right? Gain. And then if we can't get them on the gain, we'll get into logic. Hey, this is why you should logically call Toby. And then if we can't get them there, we get into fear. Here's what's going to happen if you don't call Toby, right? So operate on the emotional hot buttons, and I could keep going on and on because this notion of or this pattern, this funnel, gain, logic, fear. You can use that in your campaigns. You can and should use that in how you do your listing presentations. Now, I'll tell you again, if I go back to the beginning of this episode, what I told you was, right, I want to create the premier place, training, portal, whatever, for the world of real estate. And I'm, it's funny, last week I took my 13-year-old daughter. We went down to the library. We got a little conference room there, and I shot some videos. I'm shooting some bite-sized videos of all this stuff, right? What does that series look like for your listing presentation, right? Anyhow, I haven't released it yet, but we are doing some videos for you guys. So that's it. If you haven't yet, go to the site, get on my list. I share stuff on my list that I don't share anywhere else. We have a new sponsor coming out. And this sponsor is something I think you guys should definitely look at. I'm not going to plug them right now. Follow me on Twitter at Super Agents Live, and that's where I post all the latest episodes. Hopefully you've subscribed to the show. Hopefully you have gone to iTunes, subscribed, so whenever we drop a new episode, it pops up into your phone. If you haven't, go subscribe to the show. And if you like it, you know what I'd love? Love. Give us a rating and review. Just, it's pretty easy. It shouldn't take a whole lot of time, and it really helps the show. All right, that's it. You know what I'm going to close with? I'm going to close with this. I'm recording this in the middle of September, and I want you guys to really, really, really take this to heart, what I'm about to share. And some of you guys, what I'm about to share, you guys know this. Intuitively, instinctively, you know this. But it's something that you guys should be on the top of your mind. Okay. We are, I'm recording this September 12th, 2016. September 12th. Now, if we think about this, right, September 12th, we have 30 days to October 12th. We have 45 days to October 27th. And what happens after October 27th, right? It's Halloween. And then we very quickly we're in the holidays, right? Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then all of a sudden we're into the new year. We're into 2017, and in this year we're going to have a new president. Who knows if that's going to be Trump or Clinton, but the world is going to look different. And just historically, right? When we think about building our business, we can market and advertise, in the first of the year, and that's great. But most people are thinking about all their New Year's resolutions and what they're going to do and how they're going to better themselves and what their life's going to look like over the next 12 months. February, people are thinking about taxes. So you guys have right now 30 to 45 days that are open. And what you do in the next 30 to 45 days will shape your business, will carry your business into the new year and potentially into next spring. So really, guys, take that away. You guys have 30 to 45 days. So even if you're doing fantastic, good. Don't rest, right? Get up on that horse. Get up early every morning and go hit it. And I'll tell you, and you guys know if you've listened to the show, right? I get up at 4:30. And it's funny, if you do the math, right? Let's say that I get up at 4. And normally I'll get up at 4 and I'll start messing with my emails, even though a lot of people tell you that's what you shouldn't do. But if I get up at 4, and let's say I get to work at 5, or actually start working at 5, I have 4 hours till 9 o'clock. I mean, a lot of you guys don't start work till 9, right? I've already worked half a day by the time you walk in the office. By the time 12 o'clock hits, I've already worked 7 hours. By the time you guys are cracking your sandwich bag open, I've already worked a full day. So for you, again, knowing that we have 30 to 45 days to shape the rest of the year in terms of our business, maybe try to get up an hour earlier, 30 minutes earlier, put a little bit more into it. All right, that's it. Hope you guys like it. If you are liking these, small kind of different style modules that I've been putting out, send me an email. Let me know. I'll do more of them. All right, see you guys.